Okay, today what we need to discuss is we just need to discuss the nature and properties of matter. So this is actually a continuation lesson which we have discussed in grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, and now we need to discuss in grade 9 as well, right? When we are going to discuss this in grade 9, so first of all, we need to remember that we need to remind the things that we have learned in the previous grades. Now in grade 8, we have just learned, in last year, we have just learned about the mixed and pure substances. So where these, you can see out of the given list, aluminium, silver, copper, distilled water, carbon, sulfur, zinc, copper sulfate, sodium chloride belongs to the class of pure substances. In the pure substances classes, when you divide these substances into small particles, still you can find the same substance. For example, let's take distilled water. You take a small sample of distilled water, still you will get distilled water. That's it. And we can take a very small sample, still it is distilled water. But likewise, when you divide this physically, still you can see the same composition, chemical composition. So that is pure substance. That can be a solution, or so that can be basically compound, or that can be an element. But basically, either element or compound, so that doesn't matter. When you try to divide, still the smallest unit is even belongs to the same class, then that is a pure substance. එතකොට අපි pure substance කියන සංසුද්ධ ද්‍රව්‍ය කියලා කියන්නේ මේ ද්‍රව්‍ය තවදුරටත් බෙදා වෙන් කරත් අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ ඒ වගේම ඒවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇලුමිනියම් තව කොච්චර බෙදුවත් බෙදාගෙන ගියත් ඇලුමිනියම්ම තමයි. සිල්වර් බෙදුවට පුංචි කොටස් වලට ඉතාමත් කුඩා කොටස් වලට බෙදුවත් ඒක ඇලුමිනියම්මයි, සිල්වර්මයි, කොපර්මයි. සංසුද්ධ ජලය බෙදාගෙන ගියාම චූටිම කොටස් වලට ගියාම අණුක මට්ටමට ගියාම සංසුද්ධ ජලයමයි. කාබනුත් එහෙමයි, සල්ෆර්ත් එහෙමයි, සින්ක්, කොපර් සල්ෆේට් ඔය කොහොම එහෙමයි, සෝඩියම් ක්ලෝරයිඩ් දුණු. ද්‍රාවණයකුත් නැත්නම් දුණු ද්‍රාවණයක් ද්‍රාවණය නෙවෙයි අතන දුණු කුඩු විශේෂ විදිහට ගත්තම ඒ වගේ. ඒක පියුර් සබ්ස්ටන්ස්. ඒ කියන්නේ මිශ්‍ර වෙලා හැදිලා නැහැ. හැබැයි ලුණු ද්‍රාවණයක් ගත්තම ඒක පියුර් සබ්ස්ටන්ස් නෙවෙයි ඇත්තටම. මොකද ලුණු ද්‍රාවණයක ජලයක් තියෙනවා, ලුණුත් තියෙනවා. ඔය දෙක අපිට රත් කරලා වෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට වර්ග දෙකට බෙදෙනවා. ජලයේ ලක්ෂණ නෙවෙයි ලුණු වල ලක්ෂණ. ලුණු වල ලක්ෂණ නෙවෙයි ජලයේ ලක්ෂණ. එතකොට එකිනෙකට ලක්ෂණ වෙනස් ද්‍රව්‍ය දෙකකට බෙදන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඒවා පියෝර් නෙවෙයි, non pure substances කියලා කියනවා. ඉතින් අපි මේ අනිත් පැත්තට දැන් distilled water ගන්නේ නැතුව, සංසුද්ධ ජලය ගන්නේ නැතුව මිරිදිය හරි කරදිය ගත්තා. විශේෂයෙන්ම කරදිය බලන්න, කරදිය රත් කරලා අපිට ඒක ලවණ වර්ග වෙන් කරගෙන ජලය වෙනම ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ හේතු හින්දා ඒවා අපි කියනවා ඒවා pure substances නෙවෙයි කියලා. Right? So classify and tabulate the following substances, the elements and compounds. Okay, can you do this very quickly? 3.2. Just send me into the chat. And also send me some more. What are the other things that you know as elements? And so what are the compounds? Elements are basically a single, right? Elements are basically compound with a single substance, right? So basically not just substance, single. You can say atom and then molecule. Okay. So if it is made of single, like one type of molecule, we call that an element. But compound is, it's basically a mixture. The compound is basically more than one atom, different type of atoms. So we call that a compound. So let's see how it is composed. But before that, I just need you to do 3.2, activity 3.2, very quickly. So you can easily do this by referring to the periodic table, that is ptable.com. Let's do that now. And here classify the tabulate following: sulfur, glucose, chlorine, sodium chloride, silver, copper sulfate, zinc. Out of that, sulfur, right? Sulfur, and so you need to like divide this to further classified. So classified pure and pure substances as elements and compounds, right? So you need to divide like what are the elements, what are the compounds. Like, okay, what are the elements? Carbon is element, okay. Sodium, copper, chlorine, aluminium, yeah, potassium, these are elements. So then solutions, so not solutions, compounds are mixtures basically. You can say copper sulfate, sodium chloride are compounds. That is not there, right? Copper sulfate, sodium chloride are compound. Then zinc is an element, right? Zinc is an element. And what are the pure things? Pure. Okay, 3.2. So you need to do so sulfur, glucose, chlorine, all are pure. Right, all are pure, right? All are pure here. But you need to divide this to elements and compounds. Elements are sulfur, glucose. Elements are sulfur, chlorine, silver, copper, zinc. Then compounds are glucose, sodium chloride, copper sulfate. එහෙම නේද බෙදන්නේ? එහෙම නෙමෙයිද බෙදුවේ? බෙදන්න ඕනේ elements වලටයි compounds. Elements කියන්නේ තනි එකකින් හැදුන එකක්. Compounds කියන්නේ දෙකක් හෝ ඊට වැඩි ගන්න. Understood?
Yes, sir.
එහෙම නෙමෙයි නේද බෙදුවේ? Elements නම් හරි carbon, sodium.
Pure substances.
දැන් ඔක්කොම pure substances.
ඒක තමයි.
ඔක්කොම pure substances පුතේ. Classify and tabulate following pure substances. All are pure substances. All are pure substances. You need to classify that like, but sulfur, chlorine, silver, copper, zinc are elements, whereas glucose, sodium chloride, copper sulfate are compounds. That is how you need to do.
Okay.
Elements you can easily find in the periodic table. So elements you can easily find like in periodic table. And I just want you to create this kind of thing, this kind of slide using PowerPoint for these elements in the periodic table. Here, just create a PowerPoint slide using this. You can see copper, iron, sulfur, mercury, carbon, aluminium, silver, chlorine. These are elements, but there are more elements. You can see them here. The periodic table. Just move into the elements, and you can see from here to here, all are elements. Okay, so can you do this very quickly? So create Word document is also okay. Okay, let's create a Word document. That will be like easy, right? So let's, I will share your document just to get your engagement. I'm doing this activity because once discovered, you can enjoy this. Okay, small activity. This will be 10 minutes activity, not more than that. A stream-based 10 minutes activity. Okay, here you have elements. You need to list these elements similar to what is there in the book. Photograph of the element as well as. Later we can add the usages, everything. Okay, here it is. I'm going to show you now. Okay, you can update this. What you need to do is similar to the one in your book. Here you can see copper, iron, sulfur, mercury, carbon, aluminium, silver, chlorine, right? You can see them. But what you need to do is refer to the elementary, like this table, periodic table. And so try to find images of, okay, let's say, how many are there altogether? 100 are there? No, but I don't need all 100. Try to find images of 30 of this. And also, then you can add it to this. Example, let's say you have found copper. Then what you can do is just go to the images. And you can see here, this is like copper coin. Or even copper wire is okay. Whatever practically you can see in the environment. Just copy the image. Just copy the image. Then go to the document that I have shared. Then put one copper. Okay, let's put it to table, right? Copper. Then paste this image. Okay. Next. So similar to that, try to figure out, try to find at least 30 elements. Here's the link of P table. Try to find 30 elements. Look at this. Try to find, maybe when you click on this also you can find the element. For example, magnesium. When you click on magnesium here, then also you can find image of magnesium. Okay. Likewise, 30 elements. Okay, like now here in the P table or the periodic table, you know, so in this status, you can see, this periodic table is interactive, right? It is Celsius 0, Fahrenheit 32, and Kelvin 273. You can increase. So normally in our room temperature, you can say room temperature is 25 degrees of Celsius. That is 77 Fahrenheit and 298 Kelvin. That can be treated as the room temperature. In the room temperature, solids. So what are the solids? You can see a lot of solids are there. So what are the liquids? You can see only few liquids. Bromine, mercury, and francium are liquid. And gases, you have like hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, fluorine, argon, krypton, xenon. So those things are in gas status. Like those are the things. Okay, this is in the room temperature. Now, if you need to create compounds, compounds means more than one element. So elements are here. Elements are basically atoms. Elements are, it has atomic structure. But when you mix, like when you mix them together, at least two elements together. Okay, let's put example. Let's put like okay, magnesium and oxygen together. Magnesium and oxygen together. Now you can see it forms magnesium oxide, and it also forms magnesium peroxide, and also magnesium aluminum. This is with the aluminium and all. But magnesium carbonate, magnesium oxygen, and carbon, directly magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide is a compound. Compound means two or more elements together. All these are there in the element table, this periodic table. Then from that you can mix or you can put more like magnesium, oxygen, and nitrogen. So what will happen? So that will create here magnesium nitrate. Magnesium, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium, nitrate. These are components. Okay, magnesium, oxygen, nitrogen, and then let's put carbon also. And you can see create here photopropylene. Photopropylene means it's something, you can see Mg protopropylene. So what is that? This has carbon, hydrogen, magnesium, nitrogen, and oxygen. So these sometimes, like when you mix them together, sometimes you can create medicine. Sometimes like certain elements like explosive elements. Likewise, that is why I need you to first identify the elements, then get them together, mix them, and find out what are the so no need to write down this long things, but just try to figure out what are the things that form. Okay, here actually in these elements are having symbols. No? Nitrogen N, iron F, oxygen O, hydrogen H. These elements are having symbols. Elements are having here carbon C, oxygen O, sulfur S. Then like here you can see, oh, sorry, it's my, yeah. So you can see here chlorine, Cl, calcium, and Ca, magnesium, Mg, aluminium. Likewise, these elements are having either one English letter or two English letters. Likewise, these elements are having basically symbols. And element names can be English name. So here English name and English name. Chlorine, Cl, calcium, Ca, magnesium, Mg, aluminium, A. But here you can say sodium, Na. Why is that? Because that is the Latin name. Sodium, Na. Because natrium is the Latin name. Copper, cuprum, that is Cu. Lead, plumber, so that is Pb. Gold, aurum, that is Au. Mercury, hydrogerium, this is Hg. Iron, ferrum, that is Fe. Silver, argentum, that is Ag. So this is a different thing, different scenario. Okay. Likewise, you can discover their names, symbols. That can be done by exploring the periodic table. First, you find the elements, then find the pictures of elements, then find after that you can find, remember the symbols, right? Remember the symbols to the ptable.com and the symbolic, like what are the letters used there, right? Then actually, when you get together, when you mix them together, when you mix the elements, you can create compounds. Elements basically you cannot divide it further. Basically atoms, right? We cannot divide it further. But if it is a compound, you can divide it to the basic elements. Okay, I will explain only up to this because we need to discuss a lot of things like atomic structure, how electrons, protons are there, how compounds are created. So we need to discuss a lot of things, but before that, I need you to do some groundwork. Right? I need you to do some groundwork. Groundwork means this one, especially this activity, right? This elements activity. Please try to complete, try to find out the element and the picture of that. So before compound, you need to find the elements and picture of that. Also write down some properties of the particular elements, because at least try to figure out whether this is a metal or not. Metal, lohada නැද්ද කියලා, lohada අලෝහද, ලෝහා ලෝහද දෙකමද කියලා. But that you can discover using the periodic table, right? Because when you highlight in this periodic table, when you get, let's go to the properties, and when you ask it to highlight the metals, solid, liquids, gases are there. But let's say you need to find out the metals. Here. Alkali metals. So you can see what are the alkali metals and which of these elements belongs to that. Then here you can see alkaline earth metals. These are metals. All together, all these are metals. And these are non-metals. These are metals. And try to discover what are the metals, what are the non-metals. And in underneath of that picture, you can write down whether it's a metal or not metal, non-metal, or you can see here, metalloids. Metals, non-metals, metalloids. Try to figure out like that. Okay, with that, I will stop for today a little earlier. The reason is you need to discover that. Do that activity. If you cannot find the link, let me know, then I will forward it again. Okay,
Yes.
good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.